So look, originally, I was just going to make this video mocking the Houston Rockets and the fact that they have the worst front office in the NBA, but I realized there's just only so much mocking you can do, especially when literally everyone knows how god-awful that front office is. But let me just go over it real quick one more time for anyone who didn't know. The Houston Rockets have basically turned James Harden into Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and a bunch of pick swaps for low first-round picks. That's what they turned James Harden into. They could have had Jarrett Allen and Karis LeVert, and instead, they traded Jarrett Allen away to the Cavs, they traded Karis LeVert for Victor Oladipo, and then they traded Victor Oladipo for freaking pennies. They couldn't even get a real first-round pick from the Heat for Oladipo. His value was that low, and they were that desperate to get rid of him that they traded him for Kelly freaking Olynyk, Avery Bradley, who's been injured most of the season and is still injured right now, and a 2022 pick swap. They could not get a real pick for this man. This is just the funniest thing ever to me. And because of that, many people may be thinking that the Heat really didn't do that well in the trade deadline. Yeah, they got Oladipo, but he hasn't been playing that well this season. And if you look at his stats, at first, for a split second, you might think he's actually been okay. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. But you look at the efficiency, oh boy, 41% from the field, 32% from 3. Man has not been efficient whatsoever. Yeah, of course he costs nothing. The Heat, they got an injury-prone player. Maybe he leaves next year. Maybe he doesn't really contribute anything this season. The Heat haven't been very good. It's whatever, they're still not, they're not title contenders. Last year was a fluke. It was a Mickey Mouse finals run. Didn't count, didn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Or was it? Maybe this move was clearly, in my opinion, the best trade deadline move. Better than Vucevic to the Bulls, better than Gordon to the Nuggets, better than I'm just going to forget every move that happened other than George Hill to the Sixers right now. Better than Norman Powell to the Blazers. This may have been the best move by a landslide. It was definitely better than the Rajon Rondo move to the Clippers, I promise you that. Because Victor Oladipo might just come back and kick absolute ass and make the Heat basically a super team right now. So let me tell you why. You look at this Heat team this season, they have had their struggles. There is no denying. They're 7th in the East, and they have a losing record at 22-23. They're currently 24th in offensive rating, which is not good, and 22nd in overall net rating, which is very not good, especially from a team in the playoffs. However, despite all these issues, despite all of their missed time from players, especially guys like Jimmy Butler, who are the real leader of this team, the team is still 7th in defensive rating in the NBA. 7th. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, they should be way worse than that. Yeah, Bam Adebayo's been playing, and he's great. But Jimmy Butler has missed significant time. Goran Dragic's missed time. Tyler Hero's missed time. Kendrick Nunn has missed time. Basically everyone, hell, even Bam Adebayo has missed time. The only player who hasn't missed significant time on this team is Duncan Robinson and Kelly Olynyk, and they just traded away Kelly Olynyk because he's really not worth much. This team finally has a healthy roster. And I gotta be honest, I could legitimately see this team making a finals run again this season. Now, I might be overselling them a little bit, and as a Sixers fan, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not scared of them yet because I haven't seen them do anything yet. But you look at this team's new roster. You got Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and then Victor Oladipo, with Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, and Andre Iguodala off the bench. That is a terrifying lineup of switchability, playmaking, and scoring versatility. You look at Bam, who is the second best, I would say, passing center in the NBA, and would be best if Nikola Jokic was not a freak of nature who happens to be the best passing center in NBA history. Jimmy Butler is having the best passing season of his career, averaging 7 assists on only 2 turnovers. He is fantastic this year, and the Heat have looked amazing in the very few minutes he's played. Duncan Robinson is finally getting it together. He's shooting 39% from 3 on 8 attempts a game, despite a very rough start to the season. Tyler Hero does not have good stats for the year overall, but he's another solid enough playmaker who can score from the 3 and inside, and the kid's just got so much swag and confidence. You know he's going to get it together by the playoffs. We've seen him go up and down this season, but I'm pretty confident he's going to be looking a little bit better than he has by playoff time. Kendrick Nunn getting his shit together, averaging 14 points on decent efficiency. He's a solid player. Same thing from Goran Dragic, who is also a very, very good playmaker, who can shoot the ball a little bit, who can drive, who can pass. He does it all. Kelly Olynyk is a little bit of a loss, but the Heat also got, God, I'm going to murder this name, Nyenyen Bajaka? I have no clue. I don't have the slightest clue. The dude from the Kings. They got the power forward from the Kings. You know who I'm talking about. I have no idea to say his name. I'm sorry, dude. Alright, they got him, who basically replaces Kelly Olynyk. They're pretty much the same player. Kelly might be slightly better, especially if you're trying to run like a small ball backup center lineup, but for the most part, the dude does most of what Kelly Olynyk does, and they have Andre Iguodala. Iguodala may be 37 years old, but he's still got a little bit left. He has a little bit of playmaking. Once in a blue moon, he hits a big shot, or he makes a big defensive play. He's just a nice X factor off the bench for the playoffs. Now on to this, you add Victor Oladipo, who's having a very good playmaking season despite clearly not giving a crap on the Rockets, where he's averaging 5 assists at only 2.5 turnovers. Not, phenomenal numbers or anything, but pretty solid ones. His efficiency has sucked, his defense has not been as good as it once was, and I have accepted that Victor Oladipo is now past his peak. His peak was 2018, he's never going to get back there. But players, and we've seen this time and time again, do not play as hard or give a shit when they're on a team that they don't give a shit about. Victor Oladipo is clearly a moody player. He's made that very clear. He's been saying for years that he wants to go to Miami. He wanted out of Indiana. He didn't want to be in Houston. He didn't care. He was literally just showing up on the court to get his money. He did not give a real ounce of effort. This man could seriously turn it around, especially on the Heat, a team that has a fantastic culture and a fantastic front office, not to mention a fantastic location where Victor Oladipo would like to live and like to get a big contract in this offseason. He wants to stay with the Heat. He wants to live there, and he wants to make big money with them, which means he's going to have to play his ass off this postseason. I'm not saying he's going to quite get back to that All-NBA level, but if Victor Oladipo can even be his 2019 self, where he's a fringe All-Star level player who's still a fringe All-Defense level player, that's a terrifying lineup for any team to face. This team still has the size and versatility to deal with Giannis like they did last season, where they shore up the paint. They have the defensive IQ and great coaching to give the Sixers some issues, especially with Ben Simmons still refusing to shoot. And they have the fantastic amount of switching in defense to give the Brooklyn Nets fits. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero have been better on defense this year. Not great or anything, but not absolutely travesty levels of bad on that end. And Andre Iguodala can really lock people down for a few minutes, not to mention they have arguably the best coach in the league in Eric Spoelstra. This team is going to be a pain in the butt to get rid of in the postseason, assuming Victor Oladipo really does come back. Now that's the big question. Maybe Victor Oladipo just sucks now. Maybe he has been trying, and maybe the man's actually just straight up hot garbage at the moment. But I don't believe that. I don't believe for a second that Victor Oladipo is as bad as he's played this season. I think he will do everything he can to get his money in Miami this offseason, and that means playing back at an all-star level once again and making the Heat an extremely dangerous team. He's another playmaker, another scorer, and another defender on a team that already has quite a bit of all three of those things. The chemistry and the fit, we'll have to wait and see, but the Miami Heat definitely just improved, and they definitely just won the trade deadline, maybe making themselves contenders once again.